All right, here we go. The final 9 holes of the Killer Bee Series 2023 Rock Road Rumble, driven by Annova Disc, hosted by the St. Louis Disc Golf Club. We are at Carrollton Park for these last 9 holes, bringing it all in. We've played 4 rounds in 2 days. Andrew Presnell, who won the first event on Saturday, has a 3-stroke lead over Zackeriath Johnson after going 8 down through 9, bogeying the 9th hole on the front 9. Zach with the tee on 10. 350 foot, par 3. He's sitting 3 back. Going to be playing aggressive from here on out. Giving it a run, chain high, and that is the price we're going to see. OB off the tee. Man. Coming out the gates, firing on the back 9 here, hole 10. Phil throwing this one a little high. It's going to be well left of the basket, but that'd be a safe spot to be. Almost pin high, possibly. Him and Nick Hanson tied at 11 down. They too are not quite out of this, but Andrew does not really relinquish many leads. And that's why right there. So accurate off the tee. Parking the hole. For sure getting a stroke from Zach with the OB that he had. Nick with an early tree, so he's going to have a lot left and really trying to stay in this battle. And that is going to be a safe shot. He'll have that for par. So Phil getting fairly close to pin high, but way left. Cutting back at the OB with the ripping wind. The wind just kept getting harder. It's blowing. That was a tailwind putt for Phil there. And so Zach's going to drop 2 strokes on Andrew. And Nick with a rare miss, right side. Nick had played a fairly solid front 9, going 5 down through 8 holes. And then he too had birdied the 9th. That 9th hole played really difficult on the day. It only had 2-3 birdies, maybe 4 birdies for the whole field. None of them came from anybody inside the top 8. This one's just going to keep picking up. It'll be the hardest wind that the players have seen all weekend. So here we go. 8 holes left. Andrew taking a pretty commanding lead now after just hole 10. Hole 11, downhill, 715-foot par 4. OB down the whole left side. The sidewalk is in bounds. This is a typical righty miss, getting too far on that right and then really having to navigate the trees down the right side or throw something that's going to get you back to the right after coming out from them on your second shot to give you a look for a birdie. Phil looks like he's going to get a little bit further push down the hill than Andrew, but still be over there tucked on that right side, having to throw maybe a forehand to get out of there. This is the shot that I think is going to get the most distance and the best positioning, but you're almost immediately throwing it over the OB. Not an issue for Zach. Great throw. He's going to be in good position, especially as a forehand player, to be able to get to the pin from there. And that's looking better. Nick's got the height on it. He's got all the power to be able to get this disc where he wants it, and for sure getting it down to the A pin location. And he'll be a little bit further out left than Andrew, and Andrew and Phil, so he'll have maybe a slightly easier approach, especially with the forehand capabilities. These guys got to throw something that's going to just pretty much settle straight because of that right there. Those guardian bushes in front of the basket, those are going to collect you up if you're not careful, and getting through those can be tough work. Zach just crushing that flex forehand way too long than what he wanted. Definitely gonna leave him circle 2 or further for the birdie opportunity. Phil going to the forehand to try to get it wide enough to get around everything, but he has to push it. That's high, and that's the trouble he's gonna have, is coming down into those trees right there. If he would have kept it lower, I think he could have got the distance and really got it in there close to the pin, but that wind is just going to be such troublesome for anything in the air, anything high in the air like that. And it kept Nix from coming back over. That's probably what happened to, Zackeriath, now that I think about it. Throwing those forehands like that, they could easily get a little turning movement at them because they're throwing pretty much downhill to a headwind on these holes. So this is Nick's third shot. And Andrew has this for the 2. $18 down, hasn't missed a hole besides hole 9. Scorecard full of green, full of birdies. And as we said in the previous coverage, he hadn't bogeyed a hole through all of the Saturday event and almost all of round 1. Just the trouble of being in there, trying to get out. It'll eat up a scorecard really quick. Hole 12, 295 par 3. So we've had this pin location one other time on coverage. It's a fairly new one, pushed way back in those trees. I really like it for adding the difficulty to the hole, even though Andrew makes it look really easy. For forehand players, you got to throw something that's coming in early that has to settle before the gap that the basket sets in, because if you go long or pin high, you're going to have to putt through some honeysuckles. Andrew doing it just perfectly, getting it just inside that gap. Exactly how you would draw it up there for a forehand player. Nick leaving it early out of his hand to the left, getting knocked down immediately. So, yeah, that tree just off the tee to the left is where Nick's just got knocked down. I landed just past it. Oh, I thought Phil had that tree beat all day. Tough breaks there for Phil and Nick. And that's the danger of being left at the basket, especially if you had your tee shot and you're like, okay, I'm down there pin high, and you get to it and realize just how much trouble there is on that left side. Phil's trying to talk it in there, ringing a medal, but that'll be for a par. Nick having to straddle out for his par putt. Zach got to take a knee to get underneath these limbs for a clean birdie look. Hole 12 played .06 under par, 17% of the field. Getting a birdie on this hole. Only 6 birdies total, so under 300 foot, but just how tight the basket is and how much trouble there can be when you get in and around it. Brock Roller, Corey Folkens, Jack Shuttle, Taylor Thomas, Zach Finwall, and Andrew Presnell were our 6 birdies for the hole. So hole play, middle of the pack, difficulty. The card plays it with just 1 birdie. Hole 13, 800 foot, uphill par 5, whole way. This hole is tied for hole 5. They're both listed at 800 foot for the longest holes on their course. So we're seeing 2 different play styles here. Andrew elected to play it short to keep away from the guardian trees and away from the treble that's at that landing zone. And they give them a more open look. If you're a little bit shorter off the tee, Phil just hanging it out to the right. If you're a little bit more shorter off the tee there, you can take that left side gap out over the OB. Zach, and looked like Phil was trying to, Nick as well, pushing it further down the fairway off the tee. Gives you more distance closer to the pin, but there could be a lot more to navigate from that area. Phil going for the roller. And this one is not going to turn over. It's going to get over into 16th fairway, and that would be OB. And that went out early too. Oh, Nick fell trying to get it around those trees, and yeah, there's that area right there is prime location to collect up a lot of discs. So Andrew, who elected to be short, and he too gets collected inside those areas. So players are trying to avoid that spot by coming up a little shorter or getting knocked down short, getting stuck in there. Phil now trying to go around it, throwing another roller. He's going to be safe over there, but he's going to be coming in at a different angle. Definitely would have been good for it to stand up. And this is the trouble with the long one, so Zach's got the troubled footing. He has to navigate these tight gaps here, but you know, it works out. The second shot is through everything, and now he has is just an up and down for the birdie. He has a good chance for throwing for an eagle, but with the OB close behind it, it might not be the wisest choice. Nick pinning backhand. He gets past everything now, so he's looking at a clear line to the basket. Faking out the cameraman. I wonder if it just couldn't get a full reach back. That didn't go as far as I figured it would from him. I mean, we don't see a lot of forehands from Andrew, but it's a tool that he does have, and he'll get up there for that. That'll be throwing birdie, I believe. No, that'd be for par for him. big opportunity to make us some strokes here. So this is for par from Andrew. And that falls through the chain, so some exciting things unfolding here on 13 as Zach is in for the birdie on the par 5. Andrew taking a bogey. So the lead's been cut down just a little bit more. Zackeriath slowly chipping away at it. 410-foot par 3 14. I believe it was the 2021 Killer Bee Series when Zach just pulled the hole on this one. He had a leaner with that forehand right on the post. Just needs to turn. He'll be over there on that same side with Zach on the left there. That area has been cleared out a lot compared to previous years too. I mean, the hole's looking really good. The course overall is looking good. Again, as we said before, like the club and the volunteers and staff that they have that spend so much time getting these courses ready for their events, not just for the Killer Bees series, but for, you know, a lot of the events that these courses see in the area. We really enjoy filming up there. Phil getting a good late turn on it. That's looking solid. That'll get him inside circle 1, especially with that rollout. There he goes. Definitely wanted it. Definitely a tough spot to be, especially when you gotta get down on the ground like that to be able to make a clear line for the putt. Zach needing now one to chip another stroke off of Andrew, with Andrew being there for only a par now. Phil for birdie. The basket just rejected it. Like, there's no reason that shouldn't have stayed in there. Goodness. Flat putt, left side change, just rose off the chains. Drops right below the basket here. Hole 15, 355, par 3. Zackeriath here showing us the line. He came in a little early, but that's definitely the way to get there. You know, big sweeping forehand shot. It's got to be pushing deep though in order to get to the basket. Anything early, like Zackeriath said, you're going to get caught up early, and then it's just making this hole way too difficult. Nick going just a little long, but that is exactly where you'd want to be if you're not on the hill that the basket is set up on. Once you're at the base of the hill, fairly steep, as you can tell from the camera angle looking at it. The basket will sit above everybody's head there. Andrew being a little bit farther right. Looks like he could be pinched off to the right. A little short. Phil just coming up short too, so Nick with the best drive on the hole. And he'll still have to have a step out to get around that corner, and same for Andrew, looks like. So he's choosing to lean out there, step out there with a forehand flick up to it. Ooh, off the top. And it's settled. Good. Oh, good run. Good bid.
Oh, sit. Couldn't even get it.
So Zach in for par. Hole 15 had no birdies on the day. It played .74 as a scoring average. It was the hardest hole on the course.
For real though. Like,
And it's just how steep that basket is up there, and then just trying to get that angle. You know, all four of our players are just slightly out of position as Phil misses the par comebacker. They had a line out of there.
Putting round I've had in a long time.
Everybody else tapping out their pars. Nick had a good chance at it for the birdie. He did draw metal just a little high with that, you know, step out forehand or step out flick for his birdie opportunity. Going into hole 16 now, downhill, huge 550 par 4, definitely within range though. It's so far downhill. I've seen players easily get it inside circle 2 from the tee. I'd say these guys all have the distance if they can just, you got to really throw a solid line, have the wind in your favor. This wind being a slight right to left headwind can make this hole a little challenging today. So solid off the tee, still early and right. He got it down there though. Phil going for the roller. Gets around the guardian bushes. Cherry blossom. It settles up nice. He'll have a clear look from there on into the pin. Edge of circle 1 for birdie putt there for Nick. Now Phil, after his great drive off the tee, wrapping it up around the pin. Don't knock yourself out getting that birdie putt. Just rolling off those left side chains. We've seen that happen on a few holes now. The wind is definitely not helping those soft putts for it. You got to really commit to these putts in the wind, get that disc going down into the basket so that, you know, once it makes contact, it's not showing the bottom of the flight plate and getting pushed out. Solid birdie play for Phil. All but done with his mids and fairways, distance drivers, just needing to putt for a drop in. And Zackeriath giving that a good bid, flashing the chains. Watching everybody else just make their up shots, get up to the basket. Good up by Nick. Zach in for yet another birdie on this back nine. One hole left in the Killer Bee Series, the 2023 Killer Bee Series, hosted by the St. Louis Disc Golf Club. So we watch our final few putouts on 17 here. The players played Briscoe Woods and Sioux Passage on Saturday. They played Endicott round one on this event, which is the Rock Road Rumble. And now they're finishing on Carrollton Park. 469-foot par 4 coming into Andrew has a 4-stroke lead. Zach needing that one to get back to keep it from going any wider, and it will not. So he'll be out of bounds kind of, you know, early compared to where the basket is. Andrew slipping off the tee, keep it on his feet though. And that one, Huzzer's out. It's going to be way left in the thick stuff. It's going to be closer to the basket, but there's going to be a lot of obstruction in the way to get from there. We'll see it on his upshots. He might just have to take his medicine, but knowing that Zach's OB kind of gives him another stroke to play with on that lead. Phil finding the middle of the fairway. So the basket's from this camera angle. It's just left of that power pole. Feels like they need to go high right and around it to get in there. There it is. Look, oh, what a sky hyzer from Phil to get in there. And Zach, that's where his part. They're going OB. Yeah, we could definitely see how short Prez was and cut off on the left. So he's still trying to muscle it out there, going after it, getting it all the way down there. So probably about 25-footer looking, coming back for his birdie on 18. Nick laying down a roller, and it just didn't turn, and that's going to push him almost just as far as he already was from the basket. So Andrew to go 20 down on the event, 12 down on the round. Oh, just off the left side. Phil's disc spiked into the ground almost right up against the wood timbers there, the retaining wall. So he's just trying to find a good stance on that slope. Good birdie putt by Phil after getting knocked down into the middle of the fairway short. Huge second shot to get him in position for that birdie. And then even then, after all that, tough stance, knocking it in. 10 down by Phil. Locks him into a tie for third with Brock Roller at 10 under for the tournament. But your champion right there, Andrew Presnell, winning both events on the weekend, winning the Passage on Saturday, the Rock Road Rumble on Sunday, sweeping the 2023 Killer Bee Series driven by Innova, hosted by the St. Louis Disc Golf Club. Thanks everybody for having us out there. Thank you, Ramon. Yes, sir. Thanks for filming for us. Gatekeeper Media, Isaac, Goldbach for filming T-Cam. All the players. It was fun, good time. Andrew, 19 down for the tournament. The only one to shoot double digits on round 2. AJ Chevalier, who we had in round 1, coming up there. Taylor Thomas, who we had in round 1, stayed in the top 10 for the tournament. Thanks again, and catch y'all next year.